There are a few stories circulating right now about Black women in active labor, and they are either being horrendously ignored by the nurse right beside them, who seems to be impervious to the screams of their agony, or they're being turned away completely by the hospital and forced to give birth in their car. As these stories have gone viral, other Black women have started telling their stories as well, to emphasize the fact that these stories, these videos that we are seeing of these women who are in active labor and being mistreated by the hospitals that are supposed to help them, are not anomalies. They are not new. And within the Black community, it is something that is more common than not. And I would like to add my own story. When my husband and I got pregnant with our first child, that was the day that I found out that I had fibroids. I didn't know what fibroids were at the time, but the doctors told me that there was nothing to worry about and that I should just carry on as usual. So I did. I was 5 weeks pregnant when I found out that I was pregnant. And by week 13, I could barely keep anything down, not even water. To say that the pregnancy was hard already would be an understatement. I remember likening that pregnancy to the pregnancy that the main character in Twilight had. All of my energy was sapped. I couldn't replace it with any type of food without that food coming back. I couldn't drink anything but sips of water. For weeks I went through this, and I talked to the doctor often, but they couldn't really give me many solutions that would actually help. It was my first pregnancy, so I trusted the doctors. But then something happened. My fibroids started to degenerate. I didn't know what that meant either, but I looked it up. And it basically means that your fibroids start to lose their blood supply. This is not uncommon in pregnant women who have fibroids. But when your fibroids lose their blood supply, it starts messing with the nerves within the fibroids, and it can generate pain that is akin to labor pains. To this day, I have no idea if the fact that my head was always somewhere over a toilet was the reason why my fibroids degenerated. I don't know what sparked the process, but I do know that I went to the hospital for the pain. I talked to the doctors about what kind of pain I was in, and was surprised to find that the doctors didn't seem concerned at all. Again, this was my first pregnancy, and I had never experienced anything like this. I was also in a location that was away from my hometown, so the only other person I had was my husband. I had asked the doctors if they were going to put me on bed rest, because that is something in my own research that I had discovered doctors do when they have patients who have fibroids that are degenerating. At this point, I was 19 weeks and 4 days pregnant, and even though my baby girl was doing fine, you could see after testing that the blood supply to the 3 large fibroids that I had been cut off, and they were starting to degenerate. When I asked the doctors about bed rest, they said that I didn't need it, and they told me that I could go to work as usual. Again, I told them the amount of pain I was in, and asked for advice on what to do about it. They had already told me that it was okay to take Tylenol, so I had done that. But the Tylenol wasn't doing much for the pain, and the pain, unlike contractions, was constant and severe. But even with that, they sent me home, told me to take more Tylenol, and they booked a follow-up visit in a couple of weeks. That night, I was in pain all night long. The pain had gotten worse, and what I didn't realize was that the pain I was feeling was no longer the pain of the degenerated fibroids. They were labor pains. At 5:42 the next morning, as I was getting up to go to work because I had failed to secure a doctor's note and I didn't want to get fired, my water broke. I was 19 weeks, 5 days, and I lost my daughter. Her name was Samaria Carlina, and I will never forget that name. And I will never forgive the doctors who didn't listen, and their failure to believe a Black woman in their office cost that child her life and cost me her presence. That was 10 years ago, and not a year goes by that I don't celebrate her birthday, and not a year goes by that I don't mourn her loss. But even in my grief, I understand that I'm lucky that I didn't go with her. The mortality rate of Black women in America is 50.3 to every 100,000 births. And for those of you who think that that's not a lot, the number is 14.5 per every 1,000 births for white women, 12.4 for Hispanic women, and 10.7 for Asian women. Black women are 3 times more likely to unalive during childbirth than the second highest demographic. And this is because of systems that have been ingrained in the American experience for Black women since before the inception of this country. Black women were used as experimental tools to learn gynecology. Black women were used as experimental tools to learn C-sections in this country. Black women have always been ignored when it comes to our pain and our plight when it comes to childbirth and being a woman in general. They do not believe our pain. They do not believe our suffering. Our cries and our agony falls on deaf ears because they do not view us as human. I have the videos of those women in agony, the ones that are going viral. I have them, and I'll be putting them on my YouTube and Substack, so follow me there if you don't already. And I also have a video of a nurse who is pleading for people to continue telling these stories, because when they do, they get in trouble for it because nobody wants to hear about these issues. And America as a whole has been complacent to the plight of Black women and our experience here in the United States. If you want to know why Black women vote in the 90th percentile on the right side of history every single time, is because the suffering that people are seeing right now in this regime is not new to us. When we get this country back, and the pillars of the foundations of racial discrimination, racism and bigotry, and misogyny in this country fall, it is going to be time to have a real conversation in this country about what this country has been, the root causes of why we got to where we are right now, and a real solution on how to rebuild a country that truly works for everyone, especially keeping Black women, the most denigrated group, the most discriminated against group in America, at the forefront of your minds when you do so. This country has a lot to atone for.
Thank you.
Ma'am,
Yes.
are you able to call the anesthesiologist?
Someone is coming to take you to labor and delivery.
That's not what I asked.
I cannot, no.
Oh. Oh.
My daughter is being kicked out of this hospital and she's in active labor.
It's the paper in the bed, so you can do that. But let's see what kind of view we have.
Is this your card? No. Oh. Alright. I thought this was your card.
Feel my stuff. Feel how hard this is. She's talking about my uterus.
My daughter's in active labor and this is a Franciscan Crown Point being put out in active labor. So we gotta transfer her to a different hospital while she's in labor, in pain. Unjust.
Okay.
You want me to push this out?
of the black birthing patient who was completely ignored in Dallas when she was in active labor has gone viral across multiple platforms, including those of healthcare providers who aren't even in obstetrical care. And a lot of these accounts have a large following. So it's great that this message about obstetrical care in general in this country, and especially regarding Black maternal health care in this country, is getting amplified. But I have an ask of these accounts with large followings who are not in obstetrical care who have addressed this video. Keep talking about it. Keep talking about the maternal health care crisis in this country, as well as the Black maternal health care crisis in this country. Because for many accounts, including mine, that are smaller, we talk about it routinely, regularly. Our videos get suppressed. Our content gets taken down. We get threats. We get reported to the board on a routine basis. Because a lot of people in this country don't want to hear it and accuse us of lying or exaggerating. So please don't make this a one-off because you're not in obstetrical care. I realize it's a hot topic, that video is a hot topic, and it got you, or is going to get your account, a lot of views. And I do appreciate y'all addressing this, but don't let it be a one-off. Keep talking about it.